global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. This drama started with Doyin Okupe when he started by insisting that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the right candidate by hindsight, by foresight, that he actually believed that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if he wins the APC primaries, will make a very fantastic president amongst the three lots, of course. But you remember, Doyin Okupe happened to be the former DG of Peter Obi's movement presidential campaign. Of course, fast forward days after, the president of Peter Obi was granted an interview where he also took a talk about sarcasm at the highest level. He quickly, took a jab at Doyin Okupe. It didn't sit well, of course, with the Obedient movement, who literally dragged Okupe for being a double-edged sword. They believe that though he was with Peter Obi, he really never believed in Peter Obi's, ideology. Too bad though. But as it is right now, it has gone beyond the normal as more people are coming in, and of course the very own Sowore have decided to nail it all. Let's find out exactly where we are right now and why everybody is talking almost at the same time. But before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button beside it. You set that notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update the channel on YouTube. Now, Okupe was part of the Labour Party movement during the last general elections, which Obedient as the party's presidential candidate Peter Obi supporters are fondly called propelled. Now, the veteran politician was Obi's campaign director general, but later resigned after compromising himself in a fraud case with the Economic Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). Now, Okupe announced his exit from the Labour Party after the election and seemed to have found a new love with the current administration, going by his latest defense of President Bola Tinubu. Even though he's yet to officially join another party, the former People's Democratic Party (PDP) of chieftain has been a target of criticism from a section of the Obedient movement who viewed his latest political utterances as a betrayal of the Nigerian cause. But however, Okupe has continued to defend himself against his critics and vowed to stick to his conviction no matter the vitriolic. Now, he reiterated this position in a post on his social media handle where he stressed that he remains committed to a united and an indivisible Nigeria. He said, no matter the insult, the intolerance, and display of uncoldness, I will remain what I have always been, a true nationalist. We have invested too much in each other to go back on commitments to brotherhood and national unity. Now, this new wave of bigotry will not undo the friendship already established, Okupe wrote. Now, responding to the post, Sowore reminded the politician about their discussion before the 2023 election. And the Sahara Reporter publisher recalled how he turned down Okupe's overtures intended to convince him to support Obi in 2022. He said, "What did I tell you when you invited me to join your Bajua movement in 2022? I told you then that you have never supported a progressive cause in your life. Following that, before discontinuing the call, I told you that you have not learned your lessons, especially after the June 12 NRC saga. You see your life now?" Sowore wrote. Of course, it has got a lot of reactions. My colleague is in the house. This is getting really interesting. What's your take between this drama unfolding? Sowore, Doyin Okupe, Peter Obi, and the Obedient movement. What's your head? How can you wrap around this? It's getting really interesting.
This was expected that some persons who already were watching him from afar will lambast him at a point. And the reason why that happened is not because he was standing with Peter Obi, but it's because of that sudden, switch from Peter Obi all of a sudden to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Though he made reference to a message he published on his tweet, I think March 2022 precisely. But then the big question lies on why then did you support Peter Obi? Why did you call him from his quiet position and tell him to come out from PDP and run for presidency and all of that? So right now, most people are like, maybe there was something, maybe he was sent to do it and all of that. And also some other people who understand what it means to be loyal, to be a man of integrity, to those who know what it means for you to know what you are doing, for you to have an ideology which you stand for and you represent at all time, seems to have lost their respect for him, because that sudden switch clearly shows that he doesn't he's almost been relinquished into the group of people whom Nigerians mostly refer to as Webele face, stomach infrastructure. So that's that's why Sowore is lambasting him. But and also we know that Obedient we talk down on him, considering the fact that this was once upon a time a staunch supporter of this guy, Peter Obi. And all of a sudden he has switched. Now, the problem is not even switching. If you were standing for someone who will lift Nigeria from the poverty position to a better position, that would have been cool. Whereby maybe Peter Obi was not privileged to enter, then Bola Tinubu gets into position and do the same thing Nigerians were expecting Peter Obi to do. It would be normal for someone to say, there's no sentiment about this thing. What we're looking for is someone who can fix Nigeria, and this man is fixing Nigeria. But for you to switch to someone who is making life worse for all Nigerians, who most Nigerians do not even know where we are heading right now because there is no blueprint pointing to that direction, then Nigerians are like, you didn't even have any ideology. Maybe you're just moving from one point, or maybe you're looking for who can put food on your table or something. So I think that's the situation he's facing right now.
Well, let's hope that eventually it does not degenerate to something else. But Sowore is of the opinion that he really never was a nationalist. But judging from where he was to where he is right now, do you think that Obedient are right in dragging him one? And do you think that Peter Obi didn't win and we're looking at worst case scenario 8 years? Should he still be wallowing behind Peter Obi, knowing fully well that Peter Obi may not have that chance of still getting in come 2027? He was not in power, yet he was able to find himself into power. It will be doubly difficult for Peter Obi to still make it into power now that the instruments of authority are under his beak and call. Don't you think it's wise politically as a politician? They don't have permanent friends, they don't have permanent enemy, they have permanent interest. So he's actually pursuing his interest. Do you think it's because of that interest that he decided to move on? No offense meant, just personal interest now.
And when you talk about interest, you're talking about ideology here. Now, what do you stand for? That's what Nigeria wants to know. Now, look at, for example, the likes of Sowore. These men are Sowore and some other politicians. They are really Shehu Sani. These guys are against anything called corruption. These guys are against anything called oppression. They are against anything called poor governance. No matter who gets in there, as far as you don't do those things that they want you to do, you notice that they are still maintaining their stand. Why? Because that's what they are known for. They are being respected for that. The one when democracy story will be written in Nigeria, they will be called upon as men who stood for good governance, men who stood against corruption and all of that. Okupe does not have that in him. You understand? Okupe wants to enter into power based on all he had said. Clearly shows that at the point where he had seen that there is no future for Peter Obi, he's looking for a way to dive into the arms of Bola Tinubu. And we already know who Bola Tinubu is. Loyalty matters a great deal. You can't come from afar and just jump into his arm. We've seen what had happened to Reno Omokri. Despite all the support stories Omokri has been giving, nothing has happened. He has not even called him FFK the same thing. The man keeps date with all the things that they have said in the past against him. So we're expecting Okupe, now that you came out and he said, Peter Obi, I know that you have the capacity, I know that you have the way without, I know that there's something about you that Nigerians are in need of. A lot of people believe that that word came out from what you had grown to believe. But unfortunately, he changed. So that is why it was difficult. Now, for Peter Obi, I would say that Peter Obi is just trying to do the opposition thing because with the kind of country we have right now, except the youth decides to bring up some very strategic moves, they adopt a strategic, reasonable political strategy, it will be difficult to floor Bola Tinubu. Bola Tinubu wasn't there, but then we saw result being announced by 3 a.m. Talk less of him being there. Anything will go for him to return back to that position, except the Northerners will give him a tough fight. I don't see any much of tough fight from Peter Obi. Yes, Nigerians, they love him and all of that, but a lot of people already have tasted the pains of supporting him and losing their property. They've tasted the pain of supporting him and losing their business. So nobody will want to, stand for him. I'm looking beyond, maybe like 12 years. I'm trying to put sentiment away. After, this guy has gone, Bola Tinubu had gone, possibly another northern president, because North would not want to give it to anybody called South, So I'm looking at after 12 years, except maybe the hand of divinity comes into play. But without that, with the kind of politics that Peter Obi is playing, kind of decent politics, that's not what you need for in Nigeria. You need a rugged man to get this kind of guys off the hook, you understand? So that's where I feel that Peter Obi will not succeed. This is just personal.
Okay, we all understand. Let's go wrap it up. Let's begin our conversation. What's your take? Have a nice time. God bless you. Lesson.
Global happenings today. We communicate. We we analyze